But I kind of want to bring it back to something you said. Well, a lot of people think, well, it's easy for Drake because he had these many writers, right? So kind of like brought up a topic we wanted to talk about as far as like industry plants. So I guess what a loose way to identify industry plant is like pretty much a record label just finds any artist, kind of throws money at it and like puts them with the best writers, best producers, and like do everything they can as far as like money wise to make that person hit. Is that a good definition?
Yeah. And I think the only thing to add to it is they do all that shit and they make it look organic, or
Yes.
they come across as if it's organic and they have an organic fan base and everything.
100%, right? So I think that's a good conversation, especially in a slow news week. Does it matter? You know what I mean? Does it matter if it's organic, or does it matter that, you know, the hustle is being documented and you actually believe, you know, what the artist is doing, right? So 6ix9ine claims right now that he's making $500K a show after being proven in court documents, documentaries that he's not that guy. Clearly people don't care if a venue's paying him $500K is because they know people are coming to see. So, you know what I mean? Like, that's like the weird thing. I will bring up a funny insider story. So I won't name names, get anyone in trouble, but I have a famous family friend of mine, pretty well known in the industry when it comes to like behind the scenes engineer, guitar playing and stuff like that. So I was in the studio once with him and a very famous engineer. It's like 6 years ago, bro. And we were just naming names, and really me trying to be like nosy, like, yo, tell me about this guy. Is he gay? Like, just tell me about, you know, all this shit. And I asked him about Rihanna. And bro, this dude could not have rolled his eyes quicker. He's like, bro, she is completely industry made, or label made was more of his phrase. It's like, bro, they found a cute girl from the islands and just threw all the money at her because like, yo, we can make this into a star, right? So again, so I wonder if there's a difference, and you tell me, between a industry plant, or is that more geared towards hip hop that we have an issue with? You know what I mean? Because we don't really give R&B artists and singers issue when they don't write their own shit. It's like, well, you know, they're singing, so who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? So I wonder if there's like a difference there when it comes to perception of like if it matters or not.
Yeah, I do remember you brought up the Rihanna example, and I there definitely is a distinction between like respect level for singer and rapper and like how much they do on their own. With Rihanna, I was actually listening to her music a couple of days ago because my girl was playing it, and I was like thinking about how people pit her against Beyonce, and personally I prefer Rihanna's music. And I think when it comes to, and obviously I know she has probably 15 writers and producers and shit, but when it comes to like what I tune into the music for is how like unique the sound is. And I feel like I could never get my music like Rihanna's voice and whatever elsewhere. And that's what I love about her music. And then at the same time, there is like kind of what we were saying about with Drake, like with Rihanna, yeah, she's cute, but like there's still a level of talent like that comes from her voice and presence and all that stuff that like any random Caribbean girl can't do, even if they're pretty. So I think, at least from my perspective, being an industry plant is fine if the sound, what you're bringing to the game, is brand new. More so as a singer, because people don't expect them to do shit on their own, really, for the most part. From a rapper's perspective, I think if that industry plant, the ingredients that go into it are writers, then I think that's bad, because it just waters down everything, and it doesn't give people like an incentive to like want to try. Like, you're just gonna want to make some catchy shit that, you know, Atlantic Records or whoever can catch on to and then throw you money, and then over a certain point of time, like, you're not gonna want to be authentic or talk about shit. You're just gonna want to do what's easiest and you can vibe to, which is kind of already what's happening now, to be honest.
Yeah, which is why I think that the second part of that is probably like, what, as the artist, what are you trying to achieve? You know what I mean? Are you just trying to get rich? Which, again, power to you, right? Like, I remember when I was reading Jay-Z's book, The Decoded, in college, he was talking about like like the surge of rappers after him because like, yo, I sell drugs. I can talk about it. Like, let me just fucking get rich off it, right? Like people didn't actually love the craft of making music, right? So again, dude, I feel like that's always going to be around, and that gets exposed over time. Where like, because again, if you're an industry plant, dude, the industry decides when you're like marketable or not anymore, right? Like they decide. Like it's not you anymore, or like you can't do what Mac Miller did. Rest in peace to him. Where it's like, bro, I don't go fuck who buys my shit. I'm gonna put this out, and I know my core fan base is gonna love it. I feel like if you're an industry plant, you don't have a core fan base. Like you either are a mainstream sensation or you are fucking out of business, bro. So like everything has to be a fucking top 10 hit. And like, bro, that's not gonna last when like you start becoming way too big, and then your label's like, bro, we can get someone and do this shit for like 1/8 of what we're paying you. So good luck to you. Hope you saved your money. Like we're out. And then, oh, by the way, we own all your shit. So if your shit comes back and is successful, that's us. So like, you know, so it really is like what you want out of this shit, dog. So like, again, I don't get mad at industry plans. Again, I don't want to offend any fucking rappers who we may have on this in the future or whatever, but like, you can tell, bro, who's doing this and like who's not, bro. So like,
for sure. Yeah, I know a couple people, artists I've come across on YouTube and stuff who I've been watching and they've been blowing up. And I wasn't like a huge fan of their music, but like when I listen to it, I'm like, oh, there's a formula for this shit. Like someone at the label is like, this is the hook and it's gonna fit this key that sounds like this song that was a hit 3 months ago, and it's gonna have this vibe and you're gonna dress up this way. And then this motherfucker has an album featured with fucking every big artist in the game. And I'm like, nobody knows who you are unless they're like Rolling Loud Addicts or some shit. Like every little artist.
And how the fuck did you get these names on your album?
Yeah.
Like,
and it's very clear. And big ups to them. But to your point, these individuals don't have that like diehard core fan base that's gonna be with them fucking 20 years from now.
Right. Exactly. And what's crazy, I think time, and if you go see this artist live, and the artist talking about Post Malone, like you can tell he's not an industry plant because there's just fucking, the talent is just overwhelming. You know what I mean? Like consuming. But everything you just said is kind of what's been the knock against him, right? If whoever wants to knock him is like, bro, like, I think it was funny because John Mayer, I think I mentioned before in the pod, like John Mayer was on the Hot Ones, that chicken wing show, talking about music and eating chicken wings, whatever. But he was talking about like, bro, I love Post Malone. But he also was talking about, again, shit the average fan, again, I know you're not an average fan because you actually make music, but the average doesn't make music, doesn't know. And he's like, if you listen to the majority of his songs, it's at this certain key range where if you do something repetitive enough, it's proven that it's been a hit for multiple artists. And he was saying that Post Malone stays in that key range for like 90% of his music that he puts out. He's like, yeah, I love him to death, super talented, but he also, it's a business and he knows what the fuck he's doing. So again, that just might be a smart business move by him, right? Because again, I think he's proven that he has a core fan base, but the same way that Post Malone knows that shit at fucking 23 or whatever, you think these fucking industries and record labels don't as well? So that's why they keep fucking trying to find artists to do the same exact thing. And like, because they don't have the talent that Post Malone is, that they just recycle them and just get new ones and get new ones and get new ones. So yeah, bro, these guys know, like the same way there's analytics for fucking basketball about if you shoot a three, blah, 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 blah. Like these guys know, like, all right, if I get an artist to do this exact thing all the time, over and over again, I know I will get one song that will make up for the cost of the other thousands of artists that just didn't work out.
Yeah. If there's anything that sometimes doesn't sit well with me with Post Malone is sometimes his like off-camera vibe doesn't seem to match his vibe on the track. Like a lot of times when you hear him on the track, you're like, oh, this dude's I don't think about the life is the right phrase, but like he just seems a lot more hip-hoppy and like
dude, it sucks. So, like you don't want to judge a
partying.
book by its cover, right? Like, you know, who to say are we that this fucking tattooed face, you know what I mean, guy who's always in like cowboy clothes is like this. But I'm like, bro, like, that's why I say he's so fucking talented, because like he got people to see past that shit. But yeah, I'm with you 100%, bro. Like, you want me to believe that this hillbilly looking motherfucker, it believes all the lyrics in White Iverson? Because I don't. You know what I mean? Like,
but it's not even that. It's like, I mean, it is that, but it's also like when he's in interviews, he's like, oh, I listen to Bob Dylan and the Beatles and shit. And he made the comments about he doesn't want to be called a rapper, and he doesn't think hip hop. He thinks hip hop is he didn't say bad, but he said it, like you shouldn't listen to it or some shit. So all that combined, I'm like, that makes me really think like, oh, is this straight up a business? You just know you do this shit super well, kind of like us in a 9 to 5. Like, I know I do this shit well. It's not my passion, but these motherfuckers love it. So
that's a great point, bro. And this shit applies to everything. It's just different. It's just levels to it, right? Like, bro, like I just met a guy at the wedding. I'm not gonna name any names, but no, I just found out this guy's like top 5 French bulldog producers in the world. So this guy probably doesn't care like of fucking you know, setting up like mating with fucking dogs, right? Like that's probably not his passion growing up. Like, yo, I'm gonna make
that'd be a creepy ass passion if you just love watching them mate.
Right? But you find out you're good at it, and he's making money on it seems an obscene level. So he's like, I'll just fucking do this and then, you know, enjoy the rest of my life. So that's a great point, bro. Like Post Malone is a good example. Like maybe not an industry plant, but bro, I think the music seems more like a business for him than it does seem, at least the music he's putting out seems more like a business to him than like I'm actually passionate about like, yeah, bro, I wanted the Baby feature because like I just love the way the Baby, like I don't think so, bro. It just feels like, all right, who the fuck is famous right now? I'm gonna have all them on my shit, you know what I mean? Because like, yo, when he did his most recent tour, bro, without the features, these songs are 1 minute and 10 seconds long. So there's
Aerosmith was the only one where I was like, all right, this motherfucker definitely, that was like a bucket list item for him.
Yes.
Sorry, was it? It wasn't Aerosmith.
Not Aerosmith. It was the dude from MTV, Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah, Ozzy Osbourne.
Right, for sure. That was a bucket list for him, bro. But like, there's no way you're telling me you're just that moved, but you still make a song 1 minute and 10 seconds long. And the reason why I say that, because I remember XXS was made it very clear early on that there was there's a loophole in the streaming numbers that like they just want to get the most plays. So if I make the song shorter, people will play it more. I got to make it catchy enough in that very short period of time for people to keep playing it over and over again. I'm just like, man, like, fuck. And then you get this fucking Post Malone album that it's exactly what that is. So it's just like,
right.
Again, love him to death. I think we both have made it very clear where fucking Post Malone stands. But like, I guess it's as we're in this, and obviously as you're getting more in it from the other side, and like not just the fan perspective, like you realize, bro, like this is all a business. So, which is why maybe we need to give our flowers more to like the Drakes and the J. Coles and the Kendrick Lamars, who seems like actually love this shit. And like, billionaire or not billionaire, I fucking love doing this, and I'm going to stay true to myself. Because as you start analyzing other artists who we love, you're like, yo, this is really just like a job to you. And again, kudos to you that you figured out how to make a job into a fucking $1 million life, you and your family for years to come. But like, it's not really like you don't love this shit. Yeah.
And it's kind of tough to wrangle with that. Like if you do love the music, to think, oh, this artist doesn't really give a fuck about this. He's just doing it because it's catchy and might get some streams. But I don't think any of them will necessarily admit it. But at least as a listener, I definitely, as long as the product is good and unique, then 9 times out of 10, I'm gonna vibe with it. But that won't necessarily mean I'll want to go to your concert and wear your merch and all that shit. So I think that's a whole different level that in like the industry plant dollars can't necessarily buy, is like that authentic connection with your fan base and stuff. It can't just be paid for memes and YouTube views and shit.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. I think about to like I know I'm rocking the Knicks jersey because I'm fucking hyped about the playoffs. But like I go back to like NBA culture, bro, and it's like there's a famous player. Have you ever heard of like Big Shot Bob? His name is Robert Horry. Has like 7 rings. But as like a role player in all these teams, he's always hit a big shot in his career, but he's never been the guy, right? He's never like Jordan or even like a Charles Barkley who has 0 rings, but was the guy who is beloved by everyone in NBA galore, right?
The former Laker?
Robert Horry? Yeah, he was Laker one. Yeah, he was a Laker. Yeah. He was also a Spurs. He was also a Rockets. Like he's been on 3 different franchises and has won everywhere. Like he's always a good piece on a team. So it's almost like this, bro. Like if you're like an industry plant, you're like, you may have the accolades, right? So like, but it's rare to have like be a Drake or Jordan or LeBron where you have the accolades, but then people also look at you like, all right, but you're like one of the best, right? Like you could like, so Robert Horry has all the accolades. Like, yeah, dude, like no one really has 7 rings. Like it's not even a comment, but like you were just a guy, bro. Like you were just like, if you don't have everything else around you, like if you were the guy, you would have 0 rings. So that's like kind of the how I view the industry plant like discussion. But like, do you want to be the guy and then whatever happens, or do you want to follow a business model that, you know, is proven to work, but it will never let you become the true artist that people aspire to be? But hey, you'll be rich and you'll be loved. So kind of like do you want the fame or do you want the glory? I guess would be a good phrase to use it.
Yeah, I think that's a great way of putting it. Yeah, everyone just really has to make the decision. I mean, that's why there's indie labels and major labels. The indie, obviously, it's the tougher route, but you might be able to make, you know, $100,000 a year the rest of your life performing. And then the major label, you might make fucking $3 million in 4 years, but you blow it all because you think you're going to be around forever. And then people don't even want to pay you $200 to perform at their wedding.
Yeah. You never had a fucking core audience, right? So yeah, that's good discussion. If you guys want to comment on that, definitely comment below. What would you prefer? Do you just care about a good song or do you actually want to believe what you're listening to? So yeah, but to like my earlier point, it definitely, as we went through it, it definitely matters way more in hip hop. Like